Shane Van Gisbergen.
One of the cars to beat.
There are parts of the Chicago street course that are flooded.
Water seeping.
I would be really good at being that we do a lot of street courses.
Shane took home the biggest prize and one of the most coveted trophies of the year.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT! Let's go, man! I got
It's backseat drivers time. Good evening and welcome to Backseat Drivers number 41 for 2023. Somebody hit the wrong intro, believe it or not. So that's what you get around here, professionalism. To talk about professionalism and many other Formula One topics like who won the race over the weekend, because it's been a very unpredictable year. We've got Matthew.
Wait, was it Max? Did Max win? I think so.
Okay. Yeah. No spoilers, but I think Max won.
I heard it was a close race, and it came down to the wire. If Max had lost this race, he only would have won by 400 points.
Well, having said that, at least we don't have to listen to the radio like, oh my God, it was such a close race, like we used to with Mercedes when, Lewis was winning by 38 laps. And then, I really struggled today. We only just did it.
I snuck in there because I almost lapped everyone 40 times. Wolf wanted me to go 41, and I failed him. So
at least Max kind of gets out of the car and he's like, eat a dick, I won.
Yeah. Fuck you all, I'm going gambling.
And we've got some other people on tonight. Rob, who's prepared to go on the Love Boat or something. He's very quiet tonight because he's put himself on mute. So
he looks like the kind of guy that, like, if you can find him and you need someone found, he's the man you could maybe ask in a bar that he might do it, pay half now and half later.
Shush.
Tell everyone my secret. Like 10 kids and he owes like back payments of child support, but he's never paying.
Can't prove they're mine.
They've all got little beards and tiny sunglasses.
And,
that was a good season. This is exciting. I hope it's like this next year.
Well, it's been very easy to kind of follow who's doing the winning.
Yeah.
It's what did we have? Miami and Singapore were the only ones. There was another one early on.
It was three.
Yeah. Hey, what we could do is get a fact checker on.
Where's the fact checker?
Here he is.
What was the other race that
Singapore
Checo won?
The street
Jeddah.
Booby should know because he went to tipping camp over the summer holidays, he learned how to tip properly.
Yes.
Why didn't I go?
I don't know. It was Jeddah, Baku, and Singapore.
So four slightly more exciting races.
Yeah,
3.
Okay.
3 and 19
but
were
they
basically...
weren't that exciting, though. I think was it.
Jeddah was fairly close.
Okay.
Slightly close, slightly more exciting than say
Singapore was exciting.
Singapore was definitely exciting.
Isn't Singapore usually fun stuff happens, except in 2008 when other stuff happens and then people find out about it and then they're like, oh, you shouldn't have done that stuff. That was too fun. And then people like Alonso are like, I knew nothing of the fun. I was unaware.
It's surprising that one of the most exciting races we had, we all thought was going to be the worst race of the year at Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Matt was always there, expecting it to be an amazing race.
Well, he gave us a preview of what the track was going to look like.
I had little to high hopes.
Matt got so excited about the race, he got there like 4 months too early.
I got there way too early, and even I got to see some cars drive around the track. Not very fast. It was like there was a safety car the whole time. Or they were in the pit lane the whole time.
Premature track.
Elation?
Word? Yes. Trying to string words together in my brain. It's not working anymore.
No, all good.
So yeah. Anyway.
So season done. Good
season
work.
done.
Yeah.
We've seen records broken. 18 of them.
What, 18 records? Oh yeah, there was
18 records got broken.
Wasn't one of the records I read most records broken in a season?
No, actually, it wasn't.
Because I read that somewhere that one of his records that he broke is most records broken in a season.
Well,
which seems, I mean, good on you, Max, but also,
yeah. So basically, these are the ones I can give you.
Let's crash into a record shop or something.
Maybe. So
what are the records, Bobby?
Okay, most wins in the season, 19.
Yep.
Highest winning percentage in the season, 86.3%. Previous best was Ascari in 1952. He had 75%. Most consecutive wins, 10. Most wins from pole in a season, 12. Most consecutive wins from pole, 16. Most hat tricks in the season, 6. So he did that. Most podiums in the season, he had 21. Most points in the season, 575. Highest percentage of points scored, 92.7%.
See, that's stupid. That is ridiculous.
It's like they're just making up records.
I don't know. Here's another one. Most consecutive points scored, 1,004 points.
So wait, that record's still going though?
That's still going, yeah. So that could get even bigger.
Yeah.
Most consecutive top 2 finishes, 15. He's tied
again. There could be a record for most consecutive points. Top 3 finishes, top finishes.
Oh yeah. Well, here's another one. Most laps led in the season. He's demolished that one, and he's demolished highest percentage of laps led, 75.7%. Previous best was 71.4. Largest championship winning margin. Most races left before winning a title. He's bet that record. Most sprints. I don't know why they count that as a record. Most sprint wins in a season.
Because sprint races are real races. Sprint races matter.
Okay.
Well, it's still a record.
It's still a record. Okay. Here's another one. Most pit stops made by a winning driver.
6.
Yep, he got that one too. He's tied with Button. And then most consecutive races leading the championship. 39.
Wait, what? So that one's still going too?
That one's still going as well. So that's all the records that I found on this website that he said that he's broken.
These all been verified by Guinness?
I think so. If it's not, it's verified by Formula One or WFT1.
Yes.
So, but a bunch of those are still going.
Yeah, a bunch of those are still ongoing. So,
and from what Lewis has said, because he's given up on his car
already for next year.
Well, I know he'd given up on this car this year because he wasn't winning.
And I've heard he's already giving up on next year's car as well.
Well, he said that the Red Bull has stopped working on the car, and they're basically going to win. So I don't even know why I show up. I can just go to fashion shows and wear oversized smocks. And it does sound like, unless they start getting better, Lewis is just going to be a whingy little man.
Which is rubbing off on Russell.
Well, look, I think George has always been. I think once you join that team, you have to be a little whinger, because you got to say things. Remember on the radio, if someone hits you, you got to quickly jump on the radio and go, "I think Dave hit me," was definitely Dave. I didn't drive into him. Dave drove into where my new driving line was. And by the way, my driving line now is a zigzag. And if you don't like it, well, shut up. That's how I drive now.
Yep. Cool.
I do like how Dave, with the radio messages, are they at all kept in consideration when they do the racing incidents?
Don't
Like, are they,
No.
think so.
because I feel like they say them purely just to get like evidence in the radio. Like if someone's driving and I'll be like,
Yeah.
oh no, Booby definitely drove into me now. It wasn't anything else. Don't even look at the footage. Just take my word for it. Because then when it says at the top, incident noted, Booby Matt, turn 4, whatever. It's almost like you have to quickly just jump in and go, nah, Booby did it. It was definitely Booby.
I think that's more just to get it like highlight that something's happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
That's more the
so
TV.
yeah.
That's more the TV direction than anything else with that.
Yeah. Like, hey, look at this
Exactly.
kind of thing, rather than an actual, like, oh, he was aggrieved. Let's take that into, because you just be like, oh my god, it's George again.
Oh, it's George.
What's he whinging about now?
Crikey, someone's gone and hit me backside. He's
So, how many times did Perez qualify in the top 10 this year?
Good question.
3.
You're making me do some results. 2023 season. Where is qualifying? Well, definitely in the last race, he was in the top 10.
Well, that's one.
Yeah, but over the whole season though.
Yeah.
Give me a sec.
Oh.
1.
While Booby looks that up,
2.
is anyone surprised that Booby won the tipping competition?
Well,
No.
we were all here for his cheating.
Yeah, I know. and you know what, Rob? You know who I feel to blame? All of us, because we let it happen. We should have spoken up more. Because you know what? He's just going to do it next year. He's basically like Red Bull and
Close the
catering.
loopholes in the rules.
He's basically Red Bull and catering. No one called him out on it. They're giving him a little slap on the wrist, and he's like, "Whatever, I'll do it again. I don't even care. I don't even need wind time testing. I'll get all my tips right again." You know what? I reckon Booby's going to win by more next year, just to prove a point.
You bet I will.
So does anyone want to make an outlandish claim right now? The season's just finished, 20, and
Max will have a different teammate by the end of next year. Oh wait, you wanted an outlandish tip?
Yeah, that was outlandish this year.
I will go with my outlandish one. Oscar will win a race before
It was more than 10.
And Lando will retire because he'll just give up. Too many Australians are beating him.
Do you think though McLaren are genuinely going to be able to catch up for next year?
No.
Yes.
I feel like it's going to look like they are, and then something's going to happen, and you'll be like, "Oh man, I've been disappointed again."
Because I don't think the Red Bull's really been updated for a long period, and
some people said July.
Yeah, and it's really hard to tell how much Max is trying.
I feel like he
especially
doesn't try. Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, because there was it in? No, it wasn't Vegas. Was it this race where it looked like Leclerc was going to challenge him at the start, and then he just pulled out like a second and a half gap, like on lap 2, and it was kind of, and then it was just a matter of managing that gap.
Well,
but it was like,
Leclerc,
Dave.
it does look like they're like hey, Dave, you can win, but like, don't make it look too bad. Because
Yeah.
you know, like when you play the games and it's like it looks like you're winning too easily. We've upped the difficulty. You're like, no, back we go. I'm only winning by 2 seconds. Let me just keep driving. I don't want to be challenged.
But you wonder if it's a bit like when 2014 when Mercedes was like years ahead of everyone else and they were really holding back at the start of the year, and then you had I think it was Bahrain was about the third or fourth race in, and the two of them were let go while they both just ignored team orders and went.
Yep.
And they pulled like 7 seconds in 2 laps or something.
It's crazy.
After the safety car period at the end. Like they actually, and then it was like, okay, that's how fast those cars actually are. So
yeah, but I feel like Red Bull might be like, you kind of feel that if you were, you'd be like, let everyone think that you're only like a second or two in front.
Yeah.
And then when McLaren gets close in like a sprint race, we don't care about sprint races. When the race is on, then you're like, dickhead, I'm actually 4 seconds faster.
But you do wonder as well because Max hasn't been challenged by his teammate since whatever it was, Baku or whatever.
Baku. That was the last time Sergio won a race.
Yeah. And even that, I think Max had a failure in qualifying or something and had to come through from the back. It wasn't like Perez was quicker than him that weekend. It was something had led to.
Well, he qualified second.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
That's exciting for him.
Yeah.
Max qualified second. Sergio got pole.
That's an absolute failure.
Yeah, I'd have quit. I would have just turned off the PlayStation and gone home.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't.
Restart the game.
But yeah.
That other question you asked me earlier, Perez, he qualified 13 times in the top 10.
Which is, to be honest, that's abysmal.
It is. Considering
Wait, only 13. So half the time 13. He didn't.
Nope.
So, Booby, let me explain it. Let me run this through for a simpleton like myself. Sergio Perez is driving the other rocket ship made by NASA.
Yes.
And he should be finishing in the top 2.
Yep.
And qualifying in the top 1 or 2. And yet 50% of the time, he misses out of qualifying in the front 5 lines.
Exactly.
Be interesting to look back on the statistics of, say, 2014 and how many times Nico and Hamilton were in the top 10. When they
qualifying?
Yeah. When they I know there was issues, reliability issues. I think like Germany, I think both of them were quite far back on the grid because
wasn't there
had
an issue when they crashed into each other?
2 races. I found
that was 2016.
Well, that was 2016, yeah.
Yeah, but like 2014, where like that car was light years ahead of everything else.
There were 2 races, Dave. You're right about that. So Germany, Hamilton qualified 16th, and in Hungary the following week he qualified 21st.
Yeah,
wow.
And then how many Rosberg was out?
Rosberg
that just
first and first.
Yeah, but then in all the other races, because there was probably some where Rosberg had issues.
No, not
was he in the top 10 every?
He was in the top 10.
That
just the lowest he qualified.
Yeah,
the lowest he qualified was 4th in China that year.
There you go, and that is that's a comparable to show definitely how bad like Perez did this year.
Mm-hmm.
You can understand, even 3 or 4 kind of thing. Something happens, you have a bad strategy call, weather or whatever, you miss it, kind of thing. But to be 10 times, he's missed out on the top 10.
Yep.
In qualifying.
So
were they? Because I know some of them was him just taking the corners very wide and then plowing into the. And then just testing out the tyre fence. That was the.
He shouldn't have to which Lewis was hopeless at this as well. Where every lap I have to go out and do it at 11 tenths kind of thing. Whereas Rosberg would say, do a 9 tenths lap, make sure you're in the 10, and then you go and do your 10/10 lap. And then even in Q3, he'd go out first run, do a 9/10 lap, and then do them. Whereas Lewis would be trying to do that pole lap every time he went out in qualifying, which obviously there's a bit more capacity there. Whereas Perez, you go around, do a 9/10 lap, make sure you get yourself into Q3.
Yes.
And then in Q3, we'll worry about trying to beat everyone.
Because if you're Christian Horner and you're watching Max, you're probably bored of him, so you watch Perez, and you see Perez just decide to Tokyo drift around a corner into a tyre fence, you've got to have an awkward conversation with him, like, what are you doing? Like you just said, do you get yourself, to the next stage, then do your stupid stuff, Also, try not to get the car lifted in Monaco so everyone can have a look under our car, because we do a pretty good job of keeping it hidden, unless you lift it up 40 meters into the air where everyone can see it.
Although the funny thing is that even though the floor was actually seeable, most of the ducting and that's all in between the floor and the body of the car. So all the
but the
ducting
problem
and
is,
everything in that.
it's from what I've been seeing and from what Dave's explained with the rules, it's not that you can see it. It just gives people the idea, and then they look at it and go, "Oh, he's made the air go this way." All of a sudden, your team's just like, "Well, what happens if you make it go this way?" And then from there, you build on that and go, "Well, if you put it here, this is what happens. What if we now build from this?" Because all you need to see is have a rough idea of what they're doing, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Well, let's try this." As I found out in the Keanu Reeves Double Diffuser Matrix mystery documentary, basically a Japanese man from Honda was just like, there's no rule says that I can't work out here, so I'm going to go do it. Nice. That whole thing, Dave, it just sounded like the whole story of Braun should be summed up as snappy little F1 outfit. Everyone thinks is going to be shit, so they're like, no, let your little brother play F1, and then 3 races in, fuck them, I hate them. Get them out because they're beating everyone. They must be cheating. I don't want them here anymore. They suck.
What surprised me a bit about that, though, I haven't watched the documentary yet, but just remembering back from in the day, you had Ross Braun come into Honda. They were spending megabucks. He walked in and went, the start of 2008, I think, or he started late 2007 or whatever. He came in and basically went, this, 2008, this is a fucking shit show.
Yep.
That's it. This car is a heap of junk. We're just going to take it to, we're going to do a Red Bull this year. We're not going to worry about developing it. We're going to worry about next year because we're changing the rules. And while McLaren and Ferrari were like, oh no, we have to win this championship. Focus. Braun was there, and also with the Super Guru team too, with massive amounts of money from Honda, just slowly chipping away at the next year. And then when they came out of the blocks firing on all cylinders, which they got rid of one of the biggest issues with it, the shitty Honda engine, and put in a good Mercedes engine as well. And then people were like, oh, these guys are actually fast.
Yeah. It sounded, from what it sounded like when they interviewed Christian Horner, it was basically like, we wanted to keep them in. And then he was like, oh, these guys are good. I hate them. He basically turned into original Toto, where it was like, oh, I'm happy if you're here, but just don't make me look stupid.
This is probably why they don't want Andretti in. Just in case.
Do you reckon Andretti's going to be like Ford versus Ferrari, and they're just going to make it a magical GT40 Ferrari beating F1 car and just put a 7-liter engine in it?
Don't get me wrong. I'd really like that for that to happen.
Oh yeah,
I would see it happening.
Everybody would.
I would love nothing more than Andretti to show up, basically in a cowboy hat, like from The Simpsons, and just turn up and go, "I heard you boys got yourself a motor race," and then he unveils his car, and it's more offensive than Logan Sargent riding a bald eagle, and it just turns up and absolutely destroys Red Bull to the point where Christian Horner and Toto have to team up together to basically go to the FIA and go, we don't know what's wrong, but they shouldn't be beating us like this. Check the car. And for the first time in years, they have to become fourth friends.
Okay.
And
You
then,
don't have the
and
notes
then they-
open, Matt, do you?
and then they sort of have to like look at each other and be like, oh, did we just become best friends? And then they high five each other because they've got a common enemy, the dirty Americans.
Do you reckon if Andretti do get in with Cadillac, GM, do you reckon the Chinese market will start going, hey, we want to be a major player in the car industry. We should have our own F1 team.
Yes.
I want because could you imagine some of the commentary like he's building a great wall of defense or
That's
he's
cherry on top.
He's ready to
building his
dream
dreams.
how to drive.
The puns. Oh yeah, it's all about the puns.
He's creating a dynasty worthy of the.
But no, I can see it happening though. I can see, because they're the Chinese will be like, we want to be one of the big boys.
Yeah,
and
they
they'll
will
put all the money they can into it. They're
When
probably
trying to put
training
money into something. They're probably training somebody else.
training racers at the moment to be the best ever.
Rob, I don't want to lie to you. There's already a driver in the F1 from China. You just forgot about him. Never forget.
Who's that?
I could be really wrong and say it's Yuki.
I was going to say something like he looks kind of like your mate Yuki.
Can we get some t-shirts made next year with Joe? Never forget.
Rob?
Do you remember who his teammate is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Third Australian.
He used to be the
third Australian
driver in F1.
He used to be the Perez.
Yeah. But he could
was
actually
better than
win
Perez.
races. Yeah.
Do you think that China could be an engine manufacturer?
Yeah. Yes.
Would it
I
be
reckon
any
you
good?
think they will be a good engine manufacturer?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Rob, you can build an engine for a little, Daihatsu car that drives from like back and forth to the shops. But building an F1 engine takes a little, like the tolerances are a lot higher.
Well, they built your phone.
That's a little different.
And your computer, and all the electronics in your house, your TV.
Yeah, but Rob, building IT stuff, they've done that for years. They have factories and stuff.
Yeah.
Building a car engine, which has predominantly been a South Korean and Detroit, and at some point Fisherman's Bend department, European. China, I don't think have the best history and maybe track record so far of having.
All they will do is buy a Renault and
Not just buying
and then go, oh crap, we copied the wrong one.
Yeah.
And then
we copied the old Renault engines that didn't win anything.
Well, they still don't win anything.
Exactly.
You can put pig on it. You can put lipstick on a Renault engine and call it an Alpine, but it's still a pig.
they have landed a rover on the moon in like 2 years ago as well.
Mm.
Yeah, but
was that Rob, a genuine one or was that a?
No, I have. But the thing is, Rob, the rover engine is designed to go very slowly and precisely. An F1 engine is designed to go very, very fast and go boom, 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 and get you into pole position.
We're not talking about Toyota here.
Tell me what happened with Toyota.
Well, they threw all the money they could ever make at it,
and they
still
stuffed
didn't
up.
win.
I would like to see more engine manufacturers in the F1. It would be funny because I would love to see someone who's not European That's why I think the New Zealand team would also be hilarious, because I would love to see a convict country just turn up and just be like,
Hey, Australia's done it.
Yeah, I made an engine. What's in it?
Yeah,
engine stuff.
Repco
How'd you
5000.
go? You're gonna win.
Matt,
We've
won with an Aussie engine.
Yeah, I don't.
China
I'd like
will
to see them do it again now, like with now all the newer, not the olden days where like people just turned up. Who's your team? Rob Racing. And who's your racer? Rob Racer. He's a part of Rob Racing. And who makes the engine? Dave Engines. Where were they made? In Dave's shed. Where else would he make them?
Well, dude, to make they can bring the cost cap down a lot and have no more than 50 employees at each team.
Yeah,
and they have to do all the building of everything and pit work. that would make it. That would make it
a lot more interesting. But you got to remember, Formula One still needs to be the pinnacle of motorsport.
But it's not though. They got cost caps and. They can't just do whatever they want anymore. They have to.
They're trying to make it sustainable.
No, no.
There should be two F1s, Rob. There's F1, and then there's
IndyCar.
And there's FWON, where you're allowed to do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah.
But you're only allowed 50 employees. So if it means if Dave's a driver or like head engineer on race day, he's also a front left tire guy.
Yeah,
because you can't afford both of them.
Because back when F1 was, spend as much money as you want, there was lots of trickle down things from manufacturing from that went into cars these days. Now the only thing they really work on is the aero, like tweaking the aero to get the best bit of aero efficiency. None of that's dropping down to cars anymore. Like they're not pushing boundaries with engines and anything.
But that's also the rules have led it to that direction as well.
The thing. Is it the pinnacle of motorsport, or is it?
It's the pinnacle of a cost cap.
Well, it's still the pinnacle. It's just the technology's kind of totally changed.
Yeah, I think they should just get rid of the cost cap and give them a very vague design brief. The car has to be no bigger than this with these tires. And
I would like to see probably a reduction in the cost cap, but more freedom in the rule book.
Yeah.
So that then
basically, if you want to spend your money in one direction, you stuff up, you pay the consequences.
But Rob, if you want to spend your money on BTS and not One Direction, that's fine. Your music choice is your choice. Yes. I still got it.
You do that. All right. So there's going to be a change next year for Williams.
Like CVD, thanks.
They're getting rid of the
boys.
They're getting rid of the American.
The American handbrake.
What? The handbrake.
Who?
Williams.
Not though.
You know what's really disappointing about all of this?
What's that?
That it will be the same lineup on the grid in whatever, Bahrain or whatever.
Bahrain, starting
next year as what it was in Abu Dhabi.
I know. There's no new person.
Yeah. Nothing's but no one's even changed teams.
I know.
Until Dan and Perez do a swap.
That'll happen. Then Lawson comes in with Yuki.
It's funny, Liam seems quite confident about his position at the moment.
I think he's doing a lot of promotional stuff with AlphaTauri, I've noticed. And you can tell sometimes you can tell with Red Bull because a lot of the Red Bull recently stuff from Vegas onwards, it was sort of like Dan's here. We'll dress him up in Red Bull stuff. Why? I don't know. Shut up. Yeah. Anyway,
exactly.
Him and Max are going to do some wacky stuff. We're gonna look a bit at Yuki. Oh, also we have this other driver, Perez. Anyway, back to Dan. He's going to do some wacky stuff. You know, he's gonna drive a car sideways.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I feel like you can sort of and then Liam I think had a wacky promotional thing where him and some other random Red Bull employee or driver, or whatever, did some wacky stunts, and then Yuki got to meet the star of the Transporter, Fast and the Furious, and every other movie. Yeah, every other movie he's done, because he jokingly said ages ago he should play him in a movie. I mean, he's not wrong. It would be
about the same height. They'll be about the same height. They're about the same height.
I would like to see that, and then Toto Wolff played by obviously The Rock, because about the same. Christian Horner should just be played by Ginger Spice, but with a fake beard. I mean, this would... And she's got acting abilities in racing movies already. I don't know if we've all seen Gran Turismo now, but
no,
movie. It's definitely a movie, Dave. It has cars.
Is it worth watching?
Yeah.
Do you have like a night when your wife turns to you and go, "What are we watching?" And you go, "I'm glad you asked. Would you like to watch a real life documentary starring the guy from Stranger Things?" And then if she says yes, you're like, too late. I've already started playing it. It's also got the guy from, as I like to call him, Legolas from Lord of the Rings.
Ooh.
He pronounces Legolas or whatever, but I always called him Legolas because I knew how much it annoyed my family.
Okay. What do you reckon, Jack Dawn Williams or...
Hey, he's got a super license now, doesn't he?
Who?
Doing from this year.
I'm
finishing third.
Did he finish third in the end?
Yeah.
Fourth. Did he finish third or fourth?
I thought it was third. I thought it was third, and that gives you 40 points, and that means you
you would have thought the F2 reporter knew that like straight off his.
No, not really. I didn't do that much. Like I watched the races, but I didn't really prepare for it properly.
Dave, I watched the races. I don't give a crap we're doing finishes.
Because it's not looking like because Pocher won, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got zero chance of getting. He's got less of a chance than Dragovic of getting a Formula One seat.
I reckon they should make it that you have to.
One of them should at least somebody in top three should get into F1.
No, I reckon you need to do at least
promotion relegation system.
I reckon you need to do a minimum of 2 seasons, and you have to finish top 2 in both seasons.
I've got a new rule. It's called the Sergeant Protocol, and if you finish 2 seasons only scoring 2 points, you get booted out, and the F2 gets put in. I'm going to call it the Latifi rule, but that seems unfair because he is, the champion. But it should be called the Sergeant Protocol. If you don't make it, Williams have to kick you out.
Yep. So looking
in fact, if you score 3 times in a Williams car,
but
I think you get a statue outside.
Who's Williams really going to put in there? They're going to put Dragovic?
Yep.
Nope.
No,
he's not going to go in there. Dylan's not going to go in there. He's too busy with Alpine. They could put Mick Schumacher in, but he's trying to get in with Alpine. And it's just as bad as Sargent was, if not worse. But they got no one else who they could really put in there.
Yeah,
they're going to get someone as with no experience, who may not do any better job than Sargent. At least Sargent's actually making some sort of improvement, and he's not really costing them that much.
Dave, he got a point. He scored 0 to 1. That's an improvement.
Because I was looking for the improvements, but
compared to his
I
teammate,
couldn't find them.
Compared to his teammate,
yeah.
I
the
would
last few races
they
actually finished pretty close to each other.
Is this like Perez was kind of similar to
Perez
Max this year?
Perez was nowhere near it.
Sargent was kind of similar to Albon. Because even though Perez didn't make the top 10 times, he did out-qualify Max once.
So the last race, Sargent was 16th, Albon was 14th.
Yep.
Las
so
Vegas,
that's behind.
Las
So
Vegas.
that's behind, but also, Dave, how many points do you get for finishing 14 and 16?
No. But we're not talking about Yeah, no, but there's no points at the back of the grid. It's more you comparing yourself.
That's
to
right, Dave. There's no
Yeah.
points if you don't finish in the top 10. Gotcha. Okay.
The first person you have to
What about
beat
your love boy
is your
Ricardo?
teammate.
He's been in the back every week.
Ricardo finished higher than him and did it in less races. His ratio of points to drive in.
And he should. He was a $20 million a year paid driver. Sargent gets paid what, 50 grand a year?
That's
50?
Not a
When did he get a
apprentice.
pay rise? Why is he getting a pay rise?
Ricardo should be getting points in every race with how much he gets paid.
Sargent pays to be there.
Exactly. Sargent pays to be there.
Sargent doesn't get paid.
Yeah. So Sargent pays to be there, and Ricardo gets paid a lot of money to lose to
He's
his
got
teammate
Red Bull
after
money
breaking
again,
his
money.
wrist. Yeah.
If you think Yuki's a potential
Yuki's-
Formula One world champion,
He's doing better than Ricardo.
is he though?
Yes. Out qualified him. Beat
Hey,
him in
Rob,
nearly
do
every
you
race.
think in Yuki's career, Yuki
Yeah.
will ever finish on the better than third in the Drivers' Championship?
Depends what car he's in.
What if he was in a Red Bull?
Yeah, I reckon he would. I reckon he'd do better than Perez.
I mean, that's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Do you think if Yuki was in the Red Bull, he would
Yeah.
swear more or less at his engineer?
More.
Do you think he would? Do you think he could bring over his engineer, who would have to explain to the rest of the team that Yuki just likes to swear because that's what he thought? That's how people talk.
Yes.
Do you think?
That was
Do you think
the
every
best
so often,
fact.
just for shits and gigs, two Max's engineer will talk to Yuki and just tell him to calm down and relax?
Could you imagine Yuki at Williams with James Vowles?
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
I really
That'd be-
can't see them two work.
that would be delightful.
Yeah. It would be
I would
entertaining.
love to have seen Yuki with some older, like early 2000s engineers. You know, the ones that were completely hinged and not bonkers. I don't know, like a Ferrari strategist in the early 2000s having the nerve to tell him that the car's no good and it's spinning around.
What who do you reckon will be? Well, do you reckon there'll be anyone on the grid next year, which is pretty much the people who are on the grid this year, who will get kicked off halfway through, like De Vries?
Perez.
Like legitimately,
Perez.
you all said that. You all said this last year, and
Yep.
he's still there, and he finished second in the championship.
You know, actually, Rob, I think if Sargent was driving an AlphaTauri, he would be kicked off halfway into next year.
Yep.
Yep,
But
definitely.
because
But
he's on a
also,
Williams,
having said that, if Sargent was driving a Red Bull this year,
Yeah.
he probably would have finished second in the championship.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
Maybe. It
Oh,
would be
who
nice.
do you
It'd be interesting to see.
Davey,
I don't
do you
I don't
think a lot of Perez's problems are him just being mentally psyched out by Max,
Yeah.
and then the pressure
think so.
getting to him, and he's
I
not.
think so. And
He's
you
not
saw that,
capable.
but you saw him kind of pick things up a bit once he kind of realised
Yeah,
that
but
he
after
wasn't going to win.
what was it? After Miami, he basically became a shell of his former self and just went downhill.
Yeah.
I don't know if like Horner or someone has to go and take him aside and go, look, you're in a rocket of a car. You can drive, but we can't have you being, a back marker in one of the most dominant cars in the last 20 years and just putter around in 15th place.
Which he's done many a time.
Yeah.
Yes. We can't have the sister team out qualify you. It makes us look bad because that's like letting your younger brother beat you, in Wii tennis.
Yeah.
You let him do it once, and then the next game you just power smack the whole time and let him know who's boss.
Okay. So, just checking his results for this year, he's got 2 non-finishes, No, 2 DNFs. And
Yep.
the lowest he's finished outside of the points was 16th, apart from the
16?
2. Yep.
That was Monaco after he destroyed the car in qualifying.
That was Monaco, yep. And then the lowest he finished after that was Qatar, 10th.
Oh.
Yep. So that was his season this year. Apart from that, he's been middle of the table for most of it, like 4, 6. He's got there's a few podiums there, a couple of 8s. But he's been like just out, either just below the podium, or he's been more like closer to the bottom of the points for most of the year. That's how he scored his points.
So do you reckon there's going to be a wacky end of year mix up where they're like, we'd like to thank Perez for all his services, but we'd like to announce that we've just booted him out. Dan's coming in. Lawson's coming in to join Yuki in the Young Avengers racing team. And good luck finding his feet, Perez, by lose our number, please.
So just in comparison, looking at 2014, Nico Rosberg, his results for the year: first, second, first, retirement, first, fourth, second, retirement, second, first, essential retirement.
14.
You know what that is, Dave?
Yeah.
That is go hard or go home.
Yeah. But that's
Perez is just go home.
That's a comparable kind of, where your teammate has dominated the year in easily the best car. That's what the number 2 did.
Well, okay, look, I'm looking at 2015 now. It's a very similar result. Like second, third, first, second, eighth, second. 17th was the bad result in Monza. That's when he DNF'd. Fourth, second, did not finish. Second, and he won the last 3 races. That was in 2015.
So basically, they won Mercedes only lost 3 races in 2014.
Yep. And who won those?
I was about to say, Dave, who won all 3 of those, Rob? 3 of them against the most dominant cars.
It wasn't Yuki Tsunoda.
It wasn't Liam Lawson.
What are you on about?
It was Danny Rick.
2014, Rob.
I moved on.
2014, Mercedes lost 3 times. Guess who they lost to? You'll never guess. You'll never guess who Dave and I are going on about that won 3 races in 2014 against the most dominant car of the last 25 years, maybe even 35 years. You know what? I'll say it. 50 years. The most dominant car of the last half century.
What year?
2014.
2014.
What year are we in now?
Not 2014.
Wasn't that like 9 years ago?
Doesn't matter. Time is just a social construct.
It feels like yesterday.
Who's this watchdog driver you're talking about? It was being best of the back end of the grid.
Wait, I just got to check something.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, can you save me some time? How many times has Yuki won a race?
In Formula 1?
Yeah, let's go Formula 1.
He hasn't won a Formula 1 race.
How many times has he got a podium?
He hasn't scored a Formula 1 podium yet.
No. I'm just looking at it. Champion 0, win 0, podium 0, career points 61.
You're comparing Yuki in a piece of shit car to Dan in a race-winning car.
You play the cards you're dealt, and if Dan happened to be dealt a royal flush and wins 3 races in 2014,
put Yuki in a.
It's funny. Dan made that Red Bull a race-winning car.
No, he didn't.
His
teammates.
His 4-time world champion teammate didn't win a race in that car.
And his teammate was what, world champion in a Red Bull?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Dan was a world champion in what Red Bull?
Well, he would have been in one of them if he'd.
Would have been?
You know
If
what?
Max-
He was
if Max
a
hadn't come along.
team player.
Would have
He was
been.
the Rubens Barrichello for Vettel.
Max,
He just-
Max, the rookie who scared him away.
No, Max
I
was
don't
in
want to be
his
Perez. I don't want to
third-
be Perez.
third year by that point, I think.
Yeah,
All right, we're 50 minutes in now. We haven't talked about F2.
I know.
Okay.
And we haven't
What,
talked about the fact
you
that
want to
McLaren's
get us
got a
back
new
on
contract.
track?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I ignored you for 15 minutes.
And yet we didn't even notice.
So I got the glasses on. You can't tell when I'm zoned out.
Before we go to F2, let's quickly go through some quick news. What's happening here? McLaren Monster Energy. First time reading of that one. Their new sponsor.
So that means
Norris.
you won't be able to buy any merchandise or model cars or anything because
No.
you're not allowed to have Monster logos on anything.
No.
Not
Really?
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, they will. There was a game company they were trying to take to court. They sent a cease and desist over their game, which had a M
Oh, really?
that looked nothing like this. Their M,
Monster.
yeah,
But they still took him to
It was-
court. Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
They're assholes.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the
So,
other thing? Williams are finally getting rid of the steering wheel.
We on the dash?
Dash,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
sorry, the
Putting the
weird
dash
looking.
on the steering wheel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put the dash on the wheel.
They'll put the screen on the steering wheel like everybody else instead of being different.
I kind of liked it that they were different.
was
in
different.
That way.
Yeah.
Unless they're doing it because they can then put the little plastic one cheaper because they can buy a steering wheel from anywhere, and also they can do the little aero
Or
hack.
Gonna go pick up a wheel from Autobahn. Sus wheel.
Fanatec.
Just see Albon come out with one of those timber rims with the little Monties in it.
Nice.
The mother of pearl inlays.
Oh, good. Okay. Just quickly going
yeah.
through the news.
That's all.
Anything important there about? Oh, there's IndyCar news here about a non-points race in Argentina.
Yeah, there was whispers.
Is it
there's gonna
rumour?
be a rumor. Or supposedly they're in discussions at the moment with it. No, this was supposed to happen in September after the season. Supposedly they're getting close to finalising the deal, so
Okay.
that'll be interesting. And I believe they're actually trying to get another race, something bigger next year going on as well, possibly international.
What-
Either international
we're
or
talking
something bigger in America.
Okay. What about when I say international, they're going to go south of the border to Mexico, or
Don't know. It could be
Okay.
Europe, could be Australia, could be. I know they've mentioned coming to Australia a few times.
Again,
I
coming back.
think they'll more aim for Mexico, Argentina before
Yeah,
they
Before
fly.
Australia.
yeah. Once Perez moves to IndyCar, it'd be a pretty big market in
oh yeah,
in
for
Brazil.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mexico.
yeah. Well, he would actually move the needle on that as well.
Yeah,
Oh
definitely.
yeah. Between him and Pato,
Yeah,
but then Pato will be in F1 eventually. He may as well replace. No, Pato's
Nah.
not going to F1.
Who's got more chance,
No.
Dave? Pato or what's his name? F2 winning champion.
Pato.
Porsche.
Porsche.
Nah, Pato. Pato.
I really didn't think Porsche was that amazing. I think he was.
No, he
more
wasn't. He
consistent.
was just consistent. Yeah, he just had the consistency. I was like at the end, I was hoping for Vesti to win.
Vesti put in
If-
such a good effort over that last race.
Oh yeah,
He put in
If-
such good.
Porsche was going to get a chance, they
Yeah.
would have kicked out Joe
yeah, they definitely would have.
for him now.
But I
Yeah.
don't think he's any
It's-
better than Joe.
Yeah,
Oh,
Like,
no.
where did
And
Joe
the-
finish second?
yeah. I think he
Yeah.
was second
And
in
Porsche
season,
was
yeah.
in that season as well.
Yeah,
Joe was only in his second season, wasn't he, when he finished
Yeah.
second? I think. Whereas, what's this Porsche's third or fourth?
Third.
Third, I think. Yeah.
So that's not as bad as Dragovic because that was 4 campaigns, wasn't it,
Oh, jeez.
for Dragovic?
Really?
But I think at the moment there's probably that little bit of a lull where you haven't got someone really strong
Yeah.
coming through.
Yeah. So
Although
Teo finished
maybe next
fifth.
year there might be some retirements in F1. There might be more people coming in.
Yeah, but even
Retire first.
What's that?
Joe finished third to Piastri.
Okay.
Robert Schwartzman was second.
oh yeah,
Who
see
got-
that's like you
I don't know,
probably had a bit of a missed generation there because you had Schwartzman, Ilott. I'm trying to think there was someone else in there as well that was probably good enough.
But the problem is the F1 teams they don't want to promote, or they didn't want rookies. They wanted known drivers. That was during the COVID years, wasn't it?
Yeah, around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was Lundgaard as well, missed out. Yeah, and you're like, well, if those guys are missing out, there's like your Porches and even Doohan's probably like.
He'll probably miss out too.
There's not enough people leaving.
But there's there's missing out and not being good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doohan's got talent.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but there's-
the Super Formula car is actually more closely related to
F1.
the modern Formula One than F2 is.
Yeah.
But the new F2 car that's coming out
He's even closer.
Yeah, it's closer to a
F1 car now.
Super Formula.
Okay.
Because the Super Formula and the new F2 car is designed by Dallara.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of similarities apart from the engine.
Probably. And I was going to Super Formula next year as well.
Is that new F2 car next year?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the new
So
car.
Iwasa's going to Super Formula, and Ritomo Miyata, who won the championship, Super Formula Championship, is moving to F2.
Yep.
So he's probably stepping into a car that's closer to what he's been winning in.
So who knows? He might be a really good rookie next year.
Yeah, and
One
he'll
to
be. Yeah, I wonder if Red Bull will put Lawson back into F2.
Did he win it?
No.
Okay, so in that case, he might be able to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
No.
I think they'll just have him
Yeah, sidelines.
until he ends up in
F1.
Junior Bull
Yeah.
Racing dot point.
Whatever it's going to be called next year.
Yeah. And,
What's it called? Racing horns?
No,
Morning
Racing
Racing.
Bull.
Racing Bull Point.
Longhorn,
yeah.
Something like that.
Longhorn
Yeah.
Racing.
Dot Hugo Boss.
Yeah.
Hugo Boss something, whatever.
Dan's rocking up next season with a big Longhorn tattooed on his back.
Okay, so that pretty much covers F2.
Yeah. Do we go through
The
do we go
pre-season
through
predictions.
Yeah.
Yes.
This one. This is good.
The first one?
Who wants to take this away?
We'll mix it up.
All right. You go first.
I'll
go
go
the
first.
first one.
I'll do the first one. Our
Dave
first
and-
prediction.
Dave and Matt have the notes open to.
Yep.
Yeah,
Everybody does.
All right.
I've always got the
okay.
notes open.
Just checking.
Okay, so the first one was if our viewers remembered, we did predictions at the start of the year. Just a quick short.
I mean, I don't
11.
remember what I did last week. I don't know if our viewers will
Anyway.
remember.
Anyway, I went through all of this as well. I got bored one. I got dared to do it, so I did it. I went through what everybody said. So these are the results.
Booby, you're employed by Dave Backstreet Drivers Corp Racing Point. You know, every so
Yeah.
often you have to do some work.
Yeah, I got to pay for the mug somehow.
Yep.
And like Logan Sargent, I expect you to pay to be here.
I do.
We got some
Okay.
paid commentators on it, huh?
All right. So the first question asked was when will Gasly and Ocon have their first clash, and will it end in a fist fight? Rob said the Aussie way, but didn't say when, so he's given himself a point there.
Yep.
Seems like a cheap point.
Yeah, that seems like a cheap point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dave, you put down fist fight in Singapore.
They didn't even crash into each other all year, did they?
What a bunch of...
They did in Australia.
They did in
Australia. Yeah.
They got out and hugged it out.
Yeah.
Does that mean I technically get a point because I said before round 4?
Well, they didn't fist fight.
No, but they said they had their first clash. I should get
they had their crash before round 4, so you should get a point for that.
But it wasn't a clash. It was a...
Yeah, it was the cars.
It was a crash. The cars crashed. I gave him a point.
There's a difference between clash and a crash.
No, but he actually rode crash. Crash before round 4.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, yeah, give him the point. Give him the point.
Yep. I said it might happen. That doesn't deserve any points.
No, I don't think so.
You get negative points for being so wishy-washy.
Yeah,
exactly. That was the biggest wishy-washy answer ever, yes. Maybe. And that's pretty much it. And then question 2. Who would place higher in the championship, Lewis or George? I had to fact check.
Bobby wants to read this one out.
Of course I do, because I had to fact check this because I saw 0 points. I go, no, that's not right. Because again, when Fudd was putting in the answers, he put the ones next to George.
Don't be blaming Rob all the time. This is perfect booby deflection.
Don't worry, I've lost this one anyway. I don't care. So anyway, Fudd, George, Matt, George, Booby, Lewis, Dave, George. So I'm the only one that got points in that one. Okay, I'm done. Everybody else, somebody else. Who else do the next questions?
Will Perez finish off the season with Red Bull, and which round will Dan replace him? Yeah. Unfortunately, this hasn't happened yet.
And Fudd still gave himself points.
Yeah, how do you get a point?
I'm going to have to rule in favour of Rob for this one, because technically he did finish off the season, and so even if he gets replaced now, he should get a point, because we were all wrong, and Rob, is still waving the little Perez flag, and he should get a point for that.
No, how come Rob gets points for like every one?
I don't know.
Because I'm reading ahead right now.
No, he didn't get points for question 5.
I think get points for question 5.
Because then we've got when will Jack Doohan leave the Alpine Academy?
Yep.
Yeah. Rob said
you don't get anything for that, Rob. That's
3/4 of a season. No, he went through the full season with them. So
that's 0.
No, I said 3/4 of the season to a full season if he gets FP1 sessions. And he got FP1 sessions, so he's gone through a full season.
Yeah, but
I predicted that. I should get 2 points.
You can't write pending on all of them, Rob, just as a way of
pending.
The next one was when will Alonso have a GP2 engine moment with Aston Martin? He did have a bit of a meltdown somewhere, but it was a lot later than any of us predicted. So
yeah,
okay.
He did have a meltdown, but he never said anything about the engine. He said it was more about
also, why is Boovy's name being replaced with Alonso in question number 5? Does Boovy now think that he is Rookie of the Year because he's doing so well? Yeah. Don't change it, Boovy. It's too late. We've all seen it.
I didn't put this down.
Question 6, who will take the Latifi medal and finish last? I went for Hulkenberg, Matt went for Lance, Rob went for Sargent and was correct. And Boovy joined me with Hulkenberg. So surprisingly, Hulkenberg actually did okay this year.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, Lance did pretty well too, so I did quite badly on that question.
Definitely.
Hulkenberg was the best qualifier compared to his race
teammate.
finish.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. He qualified better. He qualified better than he.
Like he always qualified. Like
No.
But end up
he qualified higher up, but the finishing really low.
Yeah, but Albon actually out-qualified his teammate in every race, whereas Hulkenberg
didn't.
Yeah. Number 7, which drivers won't be on the grid in 2024? Well, Matt said Perez. Rob said De Vries, which I think he means De Vries.
Yes,
we'll give him that.
Yeah, so he's correcting that. Booby said Hamilton if he wins the 8th, Hulk and Alonso. So none of that happened. And
So
I
why did
said
He got minus 3 points.
Lewis, Hulk, and Perez.
Minus 3 points.
A minus 3.
Yeah.
I
That's three
now,
incorrect picks.
okay, no, number 8 here. I get a point for this. Rookie of the year. Dave picked Alonso. That's the man who came, what was it, 3rd in the championship?
He was rookie last year.
So how Alonso is the eternal
No, Dave,
rookie.
he finished 4th this year. We can't give you a point.
That's fine. Where did Pastry
Nah,
finish?
not enough. Nah.
Rookie of the year.
Rookie
Alonso,
Rookie of the year. Buffy,
Did
for some
Alonso-
reason,
did-
went
did
for
Alonso-
DeFreeze.
Did Alonso win any? I think that's a real winner here.
What's that? Me picking the phrase.
He picked the phrase.
You should lose all of your tipping points for that one.
Yeah.
Who will finish 4th in the constructors? Matt did very well.
Yes.
Yeah, picked McLaren. Fudd went for Alpine for some reason. Buvy sat on the fence and said McLaren or Alpine.
You should lose points for taking 2.
I went for Aston Martin.
Well,
I get half a point for that
Dave
one.
lost 2 points for picking Aston and Martin.
Booby should lose 4 points then because he not only picked 2, but they were both wrong. So he basically had to rule out Red Bull.
No, McLaren got. So Buffy got half right.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
you can't
One
get
of
half
these.
right for.
But
You basically
yeah.
you can just pick the 9 other teams and go. One of them will get it. Give me
Yeah.
some points.
Don't worry, I've got minus points ahead. I'm not winning this anyway.
Okay.
I'm not sure how the points here work, but will Vasseur improve Ferrari?
So tip them. Bobby tipped them for 3rd, and he got 3rd.
Yeah.
They gave him 1.5 points.
But that
I'd argue though that this year they were stronger than last year.
They finished 2nd in the standings last year.
Yeah, but
and they scored more points last year.
I'm going to argue.
I really think
they have improved,
I think
especially
so.
towards the end of this year.
I reckon they did improve. Personally, I think they improved.
Yeah,
but
on paper they did not.
On paper they did not.
Yeah.
If you look at where
And I
they
want those
finished in the
points.
standings,
I definitely want the points.
I don't understand why Booby's giving himself 1.5 points for
I didn't
not
put the
answering
points
the
in.
question.
I gave him 1.5 points.
So Rob, explain to me how Booby doesn't answer the question and gets more points that are allocated for said question.
Don't question my results.
I thought Buffy had made up these points.
No,
I didn't make up these points. I made these up.
What do you
I
think I
only
gave?
provided the answers.
Why do you think?
No
I gave
wonder
myself,
they don't make any sense.
Why do you think I gave myself 7/64 of the point for may improve?
And I don't know why we've all got 0 points for the last one because will Hockenberg be an inspired signing or a total flop?
Because he was neither. Like he did a right in the shit car that he had,
Yeah.
but he was never inspiring. He wasn't a great drive. He was a good qualifier.
But he was a bad racer.
Yeah.
I think the car was just a bad race car. It
There's
was
that too.
great for one lap, but that was as far as it went.
Was that though because his teammate seemed to go forward in the races where he just went backwards?
Well, that's because his teammate couldn't qualify.
Or was it that one was setting the car up for the race and one was setting it up for glory laps in qualifying?
Yeah, maybe.
That could be
Yeah.
that too.
Is Hulk ever going to be an inspired signing?
Not really.
I don't think he's ever.
Like that first season with Williams was all right.
Yeah.
And then, it's just never fired,
Yeah.
really.
It's just flatlined.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't think he really was a flop though, because he wasn't bad, but he was in a shit car, so he couldn't really how did he compare to his teammate? he beat his teammate by 6 points.
That's a lot of points in. Yeah,
So the
at
back,
that end of
yeah.
the scale. Yeah,
No, I believe it's
alright.
known as one Ricardo.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's as many points as Dan scored in 6 races.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, when you extrapolate that over a whole season, that's 23 points.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm.
That would have put him almost at Albon level.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
You also gotta admit, you gotta take into account a lot of these backmarket teams were real bad at the start of the season. Like there seemed to be a big gap between Red Bull and the other teams, and like the Ferraris and Mercedes and that, and then there was a big gap to the back end of the team between the Haas and the Williams and the AlphaTauris and stuff. Like AlphaTauri didn't score their first points till at least halfway through the season, didn't they?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Hasses weren't that bad at the start.
Yeah, they started off all right, actually. Yeah. But then they just didn't go anywhere. I think they just kept throwing mud at the car and it wouldn't stick.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, in same with Aston Martin, like they thought the upgrades they were putting on actually made the car worse.
Yeah. Do you reckon Haas might pull the pin soon? Do you reckon Gene Haas will go, I'm overspending money for being at the back of the grid, sell it off, and could this be a way for Andretti
to get in?
Could this be a way for the Chinese market to get in? BYD. Build Greens.
Yeah, I'd be more inclined to think it'd be someone like China coming in more than Andretti, because what are you, other than the entry, what are you really buying with Haas?
Not much.
Yeah. So,
I reckon,
if you're getting the constructors' income and that, and if Haas is getting money off MoneyGram, it's probably now it's starting to get more cost neutral for him to run the team.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, there was rumors that he wasn't really happy with Gunter, and there may be some awkward conversations.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit surprised that all of that has stayed the same for so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's not the right man for that job.
No.
Without...
No. I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Who else could replace him? Like, who else is there?
Anyone?
All right.
Yep.
What happened to ex-Ferrari? I can't even remember his name anymore.
Which one?
Last
Benito.
One. Benito. Wasn't he going to words? He was going to Sauber next year.
No, that's
No, because
that's
they've
Andreas
got
Seidel.
Seidel.
I thought Seidel was above that position. I thought he was managing director or something.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly.
I think they'll probably end up pulling someone more sports car or something like that.
Probably.
Yeah, true.
Let's see, if I was Haas, I'd be looking something like that, or trying to get someone who's very good at running a Formula 2 team or whatever.
Yeah.
To come up. Yeah.
Bonotto would be kind of good because he has that ties. He has that knowledge of Ferrari, and half their car is Ferrari, but then probably wouldn't because the Ferrari tires as well. But it'd be good because he was Ferrari's head engineer for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he moved up to to the team manager role, but then Ferrari being Ferrari, they rather fire somebody and actually fix their car properly.
They're run by the Italian newspapers.
Of course they are. The only one that actually managed to get Ferrari going properly was Schumacher.
Yeah. Or Braun.
Yeah.
Oh, Braun too. Yeah. Braun,
Yeah.
Schumacher,
Ross
and
Braun.
JohnTott.
Yeah.
AndTott.
Yeah. Do you reckon the Italian media would be the same if Lamborghini were in there? Like, say Audi went, no, we're pulling the pin, and VW Group went, well, let's chuck Lamborghini in as the team.
And Lamborghini do a lot more sports car stuff.
Yeah.
GT3, GT4
Well,
stuff.
up until, 20 years ago, they didn't do any motorsport, really.
I know, but then they've come back into it.
Yeah.
I think the Italian media in that it would depend on where the team was based.
Yeah.
Like if it's
It'd have to be in Italy.
if it's an Audi team with an Lamborghini badge on it,
Yeah, we'll still be based in Germany.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think they care as much as if it was actually based.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
in
the team
Italy.
actually did move back to Italy, like AlphaTauri and Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry,
Racing
the
Bulls
Racing
Fox
Bulls.
Point.
Or whatever it's going to be. She's Illuminati.
Whatever the dopey marketing companies decided.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Personally, I'd like to see Hyundai come in.
Ooh.
What about
I think-
Kia?
Well, same.
Same company, yeah.
Same
Same
company. But a Hyundai, I
Who else
reckon,
would you like to see? Who else do you think?
I'd like to see the
You see
Lamborghini
Chrysler?
there.
Let's get a Chrysler in there.
Also, the GM group. It'll
Yeah.
be in.
The
Hopefully
GM group. Hopefully
We
Cadillac
got
gets
Cadillac coming.
The cars are like 12 foot longer than any other Formula One car.
it. and weigh 6,000 tons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wings aren't actually functional; they're just for decoration.
Just clip-ons.
Yeah.
Basically.
All right.
I think we're done. Are we
Yeah.
done?
Yeah, I'm done.
I think we're
Cool.
all done.
I'm going home. It's home time.
Sounds good.
We got any more lined up before the end of the season, or before the end of the?
Well, Matt
Yeah.
was going to do a quiz for us, wasn't he?
Well, I can do the quiz next week, and
Yeah.
I will
I
be
won't
the
be.
quiz
I won't
master
be
again.
here. I won't be here next week.
Really?
It'll
Or
Yeah, I'll
Really?
be in sunny Brisbane.
okay.
Okay.
Well, maybe we'll do a ridiculous one next week, and then we'll do a quiz the week after.
All right.
Sounds good.
Sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
That's planning, backseat driver
Exactly.
style.
Well done,
Exactly.
team.
And while
You saw it
We
here
can all
first.
go home. We've done well.
Thank you, Max and
So-
Jared, for being our dedicated fans over the year.
yes,
Yeah,
Is
Thank you
anyone,
very much.
anyone else watching?
and the other
he's
the
good.
quiet watchers who aren't commenting.
Yeah.
Remember,
Remember-
yeah,
Subscribe. Click that bell notification thing that no one ever
yeah,
reads.
so you know when we're online.
exactly.
Because we don't.
Subscribe, hit the bell, and do all the other YouTube stuff that
Add
we
us-
need to do.
Yeah.
Add us to Steam so you know when we're online and can stalk us.
Exactly.
Why are you playing that game at this time? You're supposed to be at work.
Shh.
Shut up.
All right, until next week.
All right.
We'll
See you all.
catch you later.
See yous.